Kevin J. Johnston here. As usual, the news is stupid in North America. We have found out that the National Hockey League, a private business, somehow was coerced into hiring a third-party agency who then had a look at who worked for the entire establishment to then come back with a report criticizing the National Hockey League because 84% of its entire workforce is white. Yeah. The NHL's response to this was to hire an obese black woman with a nasty attitude who's never exercised a day in her life, probably can't skate, and I'm sure does not know the rules of hockey, to stand on stage beside Gary Bettman to scold white people in the Western Hemisphere for not hiring more black people and or what she calls minorities to work within the National Hockey League. Well, let's cover that for a second, shall we? Some sports are just predominantly of a specific skin color and or culture because that is how human beings have developed over the last 250,000 years. Cricket is mostly played by Indians and Pakistanis. Okay, I'm fine with that. Who cares? If they love the game, let them play it. Lacrosse used to just be played by natives until white people saw it and thought, hey, this is pretty cool. All right? And they started developing lacrosse on ice and then realized lacrosse was better on foot. Okay, but natives still play it a lot. I know, especially in Ontario, the Six Nations guys, they're psychos on the field, and that's why they're so entertaining to watch. The point I want to make here is that Canada and the United States are white countries. Hockey is predominantly a white sport. People that get involved in the sport tend to be white because that is what happens when one of your national pastimes ends up being part of that particular nation. The vast majority of the people in that nation, of whatever skin color they may happen to be, will play that sport. Right? Same with soccer. Now, Europeans used to be the ones that exclusively played the game, but now it's all over the world. Excellent. Fine. Wonderful. Because it's a cheap sport to play. Hockey is not a cheap sport to play at all. So if she wants to criticize the NHL for this, well, she's going to have to look at economics right across North America. And there are neighborhoods, which I know because I lived in, there are neighborhoods that are predominantly very black that are very poor. Why? Because the family unit's been broken down, because church groups no longer support each other, because the economy in those areas suck, and because there is this propensity for getting involved in gangster-style rap and gangster-style lifestyles. Even though the gangsterish part of it is fake, it doesn't matter. Harlem, West Philly, Central Chicago, that's what they choose to do. So when you're involved in that particular lifestyle, you're not going to get involved in hockey. And when you're just barely scraping by in these neighborhoods, you're not putting your kids in hockey. You're going to give them a basketball because basketball is really cheap to play. Here's a ball. Here's some shoes. The shoes could be used. You know, if you don't have a basket to shoot at, that's fine. Go to the local store, grab a shopping cart, hang it up on a wall. Now you can play basketball with that. I know. I lived in Harlem. I saw this stuff. So everybody, because Canada and the United States are predominantly white countries, and hockey has always been a white sport, you can expect 84% of the workforce of a professional hockey league to be white. Now, please tell me what's wrong with that. And also, let's factor this in too, is that in the National Basketball Association, which is predominantly black, all right, the athletes there, the league minimum is almost double what the league minimum is in the white National Hockey League. Why isn't that brought up? Why don't we do this? Let's equalize the NBA. Let's write a law that says that 50% of people that work and or play in the NBA are white. Let's see if we can get away with that. Let's see a white man stand up on stage in a black neighborhood scolding black people about the fact that the NBA is predominantly black players. How far would he get? Yeah? Do you think maybe he might even get shot for doing something like that? I think he would. So why is it that we are reporting that white people make up the majority of a workforce? Why is that news? Just like, why would it be news that most players in the NBA are black? Do you care? Honestly, do you care? Will you sleep worse at night knowing that a specific sport is dominated by a specific skin color? Are you going to make less money or more money in life? Are you going to be more intelligent or less intelligent? Will you get kicked out of your house because most of the people that work in the NHL are white? Like, come on. It doesn't affect you in any way. And honestly speaking, the average person can't even afford hockey tickets anymore. It's not even that you can't afford to play the game. It's that you can't afford tickets. Everything has become so expensive, and we've had a fake pandemic now for almost 3 years, bankrupting everybody. So the sport is going to have fewer and fewer and fewer players in it regardless. But the fact that the NHL has 84% white people working for it is not even news. And what I hope here is that we don't start hiring people to work in the NHL just because of their skin color. Because America, I'm going to remind you of something. You voted for Barack Obama only because of his skin color. You did not once stop to think about how unqualified he really was to be the president of the United States. And because you elected a man based solely on his skin color, you ended up with the worst president in America's history up until Biden. So think about that. Hiring people based on skin color and making a production out of it based on skin color makes you the racist, but also it's going to make you the loser. See ya.